Hi everyone, welcome to the Rebel Crow Psychic Show with your host, Athena Silver.
Hi guys, I'm Anya River.
We cannot wait to tell you about the magical herb conversation we're about to have. We are about to take you on a journey into our spring garden planning and medicinal herbs. Are you excited?
So excited. Yep, stay tuned.
Hi, and we're back. We're going to get right into this episode. We are getting to the point where it's about to thaw out in the Northeast of the United States where we're based. And we are going to get into spring gardening and what to start planting, when, why, how, horror stories about when herbs reject you and don't want to work with you and cause chaos in your life. And a story, most importantly, about something that happens in my garden every year that just is magical and helps usher in an entire, season, fall for me. So cannot wait to tell you guys all about this.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your story. I don't think I've ever heard the other story. Maybe I have. I don't know. We'll see.
Once I start telling you, you're going to be like, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're usually on the phone when it happens. Anyway, so let's talk gardening. So how do you approach an herb garden every year? Like, give us your headspace.
For me, well, to be honest with you, when I bought this house 11 years ago or 10 years ago, that was one of the first things I wanted to do. And I did not do it until a little bit here and there. But last year I went crazy with COVID. I just went absolutely bananas. And it was all those years that were I was thinking, oh, I want to do this. I want to be like this urban farmer.
Precisely the best way to explain it. We went full on urban farmer this past year. So I am so looking forward to this upcoming season because of last season. Season just set such a precedent in my mind. You cannot top it. It is gold medal status when it comes to gardening.
I plan to double my garden this year. I grew food, I grew herbs, I grew flowers, I grew I planted some new bushes, and I just went over the top for first year, remember all that stimulus money? It all went towards the COVID garden.
Yes, for real. Oh my God, you're right.
the COVID garden. Oh, I even got indoor setup. So I have an aero garden and I have an iHarvest. Yeah, the aero garden's already started for this spring. So I've got herbs grown in there.
Nice.
And I learned a lot, there was a lot that, I don't know. It's just, there's so much to it. You start getting into it, you think, oh, it's just watering and planting and stuff. No. There's this is full on relationship. You are in relationship with your garden. And yes. I couldn't be happier that I did it, and especially this year, it's going to be so easy to maybe not double what I did last year. I did a lot last year, but
yeah,
increase without spending too much money, because it's the initial investment, right? That's usually.
Well, I have a hack for that. I am a perennial gardener. I am so thrifty that I will not pay more than once for a bush or a plant or an herb. I'm going to keep that baby alive for years to come. That's why I love roses, because I can literally put a rose bush even in a terrible spot, and that thing will come back each and every year bigger and better than before.
Yeah.
I have this thing where I work with herbs that are you don't have to water us for 3 days. We're cool. We're chilling. That's why I do really well with Mediterranean herbs, like rosemary. When I'm planting a garden, though, my biggest thing is medicine, magic, those are my two fronts. I want to know what I'm going to use it in cooking too. Medicine, magic, and cooking. Because I make teas and I do put a lot of my herbs in my everyday cooking for my children and my husband. Just, keeping everybody on the up and up. But with the garden, I'm looking at how can these three things come into a perfect harmony. I try to sit down and think of like the top 5 everyday ailments that occur, that how do I treat that magically, medically, and then even holistically. And then I'll base the plants that I need off of that. I try to go as diverse, multi-purpose as you can get. I want to basically be able to handle those 5 everyday ailments in a matter of the 6 or 7 herbs that I carry in my garden. Like I'm an extreme, like if we're doing it, this thing is going to be used in everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's good strategy.
Yeah, it really makes the most out of it. And it also, by paring it down, I know exactly what's in my garden. I have kind of iffy soil in my house, the land on my house. I don't grow anything that I eat out of the soil from that ground because I don't know what's in it. And my guides have told me like, nope, grow it out of a pot. So I'm able to know exactly how many pots I have at every given time, what the plant requirements are, because I have different weather conditions on my property as well. So I have full sun in the back, like the entire day. This thing is pumping out UV rays.
You're lucky.
Yeah, so I'm able to grow like nice Mediterranean herbs over there. But then I also have on the other side of my property is pretty much partial shade. So I can grow some of the more hardier herbs on that side of the house, which is nice. I can get some versatility. But for me, it's all about multi-purpose.
Yeah, right. So you mostly do herbs. Are you going to do some food this year?
I am. That's my goal for this year. I'm going to dabble in some food.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I love the feeling of when I'm cooking, when I'm making like a whole chicken, for instance. I love being able, part of my step is go out in my garden, clip up this and that, say a prayer and gratitude, and then come and use it for medicine for my family in the form of food. It makes us healthier. And the best thing I love about growing the herbs is that you are growing it with whatever intention you put into it. Every time I put in a plant into soil, I say a prayer and I ask it to either be used for healing, for magic, or for just general health and happiness. I ask the plant to do me that favor and I'll take care of it in exchange, and then I get all the spirits of the land involved, and it becomes a whole effort of the land that I'm on and everything that inhabits that land.
Yeah, it's like a magical infusion.
It's very much a spiritual connection.
Yeah. Like so these woven layers.
So when I'm out there pruning and I'm just saying prayers to the plants, to the animals, to the spirits on that land, it's such a peaceful and meaningful connection. It's so much more than just putting a plant in soil. You're connecting with it. You're growing with it. You're making sure that it has everything that it needs. It's almost like taking care of another child or another being,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
This year, I also got my youngest child addicted to gardening.
Oh.
We formed a gardening club. So every day he would come out and garden with me. I taught him how to use the different gardening tools, and he just got really into it. So much so that he's still getting library books on different gardening techniques. It's really cute.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was a major bonding point for us because I was able to teach my child about, the earth and why we need to protect it. And
I got 1 and 1. So one's really interested in gardening and making a mess, and the other one just likes the composter.
Yeah. Well, I have one that loves to garden and one that is like, I don't like outside. It's kind of
Dirt. I don't like outside.
Yeah. So it's like, you got to get it where you can. But I want to talk to you more about like what specific herbs that are your go-to and then why.
Oh. Well, I have a lot of different plants, not just herbs, but what I have now inside and outside, because remember, I've got my inside things
Yep.
too. My inside, what is it called? Uh,
Oh, the
hydroponics?
hydroponics.
Hydroponics. Yeah, they're hydroponics.
Yep.
So, my favorites right now, my absolute favorite is actually was here when I moved here. It's my mulberry tree.
Nice.
And the mulberry tree, like I totally didn't appreciate or understand what it was or what it did for so many years. And then I don't know what happened, but like this year or last year, I started like really noticing it, and it's amazing. It produces so many berries. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And I think I didn't think they were edible when I first moved here, because I was just like, it's too
You're like, that's a
much.
foreign berry. I did not plan. I don't know what the hell that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, and it was just so abundant that I had a hard time believing that it was like, I don't know, there's maybe some havingness issues there. But the reason why I love the mulberry tree so much is I learned that mulberry trees represent and facilitate cosmic knowledge.
Wow.
And it's just this amazing, like, and I noticed it too, like I was really gravitated, especially last year, spending so much time in the backyard, really gravitated towards like sitting under that tree and didn't know what it represented. And I had some really powerful visions, like
Well, that's part
incredible.
of the knowledge part. You've got to figure out in layers what it really means.
Well,
I have,
I had these amazing visions and I didn't connect it to the tree. And then after the fact, when I started studying the tree, I was like, oh, this is supposed to do that. You're supposed to get visions. Right.
yeah.
So like I didn't connect because one of these things was on Lionsgate too. So I thought it was a Lionsgate thing alone. But apparently it was a combination of all of it. And it was intense and beautiful. And I love my mulberry tree. So what about
I
you?
I have a similar experience with trees on my property. When I moved here, there's two old growth oak trees that my oldest son, named them Mr. and Mrs. Tree. Me and Mr. Tree are having a love affair with each other. Okay. I just love that tree on like such a deep soul level. I've done magic with that tree. I've
Mhm.
made sacred objects with the bark and the timber of that tree. Like that tree, I even fought for that tree.
Yeah.
I fought for that tree. All right.
Well,
So,
tell us what happened.
oh, why I had to fight with the tree?
Yeah.
Because the house next door to me when I first moved here, it was abandoned. It was a really nice situation. I had privacy. I could do some spell work and privacy. I used to roam, and
Mhm.
so somebody bought the property and fixed it up. And in the midst of the day, I came outside and noticed that they had cut Mr. Tree in the wrong way and cut him and I could feel the tree was in pain. And I
Mhm.
was just like, oh my God, like, and every time I would come outside, I could feel like loss and hurt and anger and frustration. And I was like, I got to do something. And I spoke to a friend of mine who is a shamanic practitioner, and we talked about it. And I was like, we've got to help this tree. So
Mhm.
she taught me a ceremony. We did it, and lo and behold, it fixed the tree.
Oh.
And so after that, I have a spot underneath the tree that I leave offerings for the spirits of land and for the tree. We have an ongoing relationship.
Mhm.
I feel bad because I'm a home wrecker coming in between Mr. and Mrs. Tree, but you know what? Sorry, Mrs. Tree, you're not as cool.
Oh. Poor Mrs. Tree.
But yeah, so that's the story. So I got really angry at the neighbors and yelled at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just the ignorance. Nobody thought about how the tree would feel. Nobody thought to ask the homeowner where the tree stands on. Not that I really own the land or anything. I'm just kind of leasing it here in life. But, and that tree will definitely outlive me. But in the course of the tree's history, I wanted to be an advocate for that tree.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Because somebody's got to stick up for him. He's cool. He's awesome.
Like we make friends with our trees. It's so beautiful.
When I'm driving down the road, right, I see that tree before I see my house.
Yeah.
So that tree symbolizes home for me.
Yeah. I have a similar thing because I can see my trees like 2 blocks away.
Yeah. And I have a lot of and there's a giant, gathering of crows that live in that specific tree. Like they all have nests in it and stuff. So, and the crows, I have an ongoing relationship with them as well. So it's like on this extremely spiritual, deep level that I've connected to the spirits of this land. And for me, every time, my garden represents the fertility birth cycle part of that relationship. But by tending to those plants, it's showing that land and all of its inhabitants that I respect them and that I hope that they respect me back, that I'm here to take care of them and nurture them. And I hope that they can do the same for me if I need it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to live in right relationship with all of them.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about gardening too, is that you start cultivating that awareness of the spirit of the plants.
Yes.
So, and that extends to all of the, all of the ecosystem. So tell me about some more herbs that you grow.
Okay. So I grow rosemary. That's my absolute favorite. I put that shit in everything. Like that hot sauce commercial. That is the most versatile herb out there. You can literally put it in any spell word you can think of because it's for protection and grounding vibration. So you need that in everything. So it's such an amazing herb to have. And the smell of it, the taste of it, just everything about that herb just sings to my soul, I grow parsley because I do a lot of prosperity magic and stuff like that. I also cook with it quite a bit. I use lemon balm a lot, magical workings and glamour magic workings. So I grow a lot of that as well. My biggest thing though is I grow a lot of sage. Sage is really, precious to my heart. I use it a lot in my work and I use it for, smudging prayer and stuff like that. And I like to have enough to last me throughout the year. I like to grow what I use. I don't like to buy sage that's hasn't been grown by me because just the act of growing it is a prayer. Every level of it is really sacred, and it's like my way of showing nature again that I'm here to care for it and that I'm part of it. So from cultivating it from a seed to harvesting it and using it in prayer and stuff like that, like the entire way through, it's my way of saying here you go, like we did this together.
Yeah, and you're definitely really good at it because growing white sage in our area is not easy. Do you grow garden sage or white sage?
Both. Actually, I grow a lot of different sage. I go sage crazy. I have multiple. Well, it's useful in different ways. I cook with it as well. I'll make herb chicken and stuff like that where I have a bunch of different herbs and it's mostly sage. It's even just the smell of it when it grows. I like to when I'm pruning it and tending to it, I like to just smell the herb, and it's just another way to connect with the plant. It's just every level of it, if you sit in your garden long enough and you're quiet, you remember that you were once part of this. Like you were once a plant yourself. Like you feel like you're home. And all the plants are your homies.
I had some success this year growing white sage in the iHarvest, which I was shocked about because it's a hydroponic system. Like I didn't think that it was going to grow well with so much water, but I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I even have sage that hibernates and makes it through the winter.
Wow.
Comes back. Yeah.
That's great.
I think it's a spiritual thing. I think that's how it keeps coming back is the spiritual connection with working with the plant. So why don't we talk about horror stories of when herbs reject you in a hostile way?
I'm guessing you have a story.
And it's dramatic as hell. Buckle up. It involves the hospital.
I got my coffee. I'm ready.
All right. So 2 summers ago, I was like, you know what? I want to grow basil. I've never grown basil. Everybody uses basil. Basil's a hot herb on the market right now. You could buy it everywhere. Basil was everywhere. And I was
still
like,
is.
I know. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have basil. So I was really like ambitious. And I'm like, I'm going to get 3 basil plants. 3. Crazy. So I had these long pots where I could only put 2 in a pot. So this is where the basil started the problem. I put 2 of them in the same pot, and then I had 1, and I happened to only have lavender left, so I put the lavender there. It choked it out miserably. It's an invasive species. Yeah. Then that stuff grows and grows and grows and grows, and it has these little flowers that smell like you can smell it down the block. That basil is stinky. And then all of a sudden we got the beetle apocalypse of a lifetime. I'm talking about thousands of them, and they were they were huge, and they were buzzing everywhere. Like we had to keep our lights off outside to come in and out of the door.
Wow.
It was really bad. So on my back deck one night, hanging out, my husband's there, my brother's over, I'm out there, we're listening to music, having fun. And all of a sudden my brother goes, "Oh my God. Ah! Yeah. A beetle flew into his ear. I have never seen somebody scream in pain like that before. It was horrifying. So I had to take that poor kid to the hospital, and they pulled a beetle out of his ear. It was just, it was a nightmare. And then I realized, then my husband sat me down. He was like, "You're not allowed to grow that plant anymore. Like next year, you're not allowed to have it." And I was like, you know what? I am not allowed to have that plant. You're right. I can't.
So why do you think that it was the basil that, why do you think the basil doesn't want to work with you? Like, obviously the beetles, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think that I don't have enough time to devote to it because my garden is big, and I grew a lot of it, and just the basil just kept growing and growing and growing. It was just overtaking me. I have limited energy because of the illnesses I have. So I have to be very careful with fatigue because I get tired really easily. So when I'm tending the garden, I have to do it in stages, and then that stuff just wouldn't stop growing. And, I think it was too much for me, I like the chilled out plants.
You like the you think the basil's a needy? It's needy and jealous.
Oh my God, needy and jealous don't even cover it, that, it's a bold plant. It wants attention. It wants the paparazzi looking at it, it wants to be on page 6.
No, I get that energy from basil. It's very very showy. I mean, it does
has Paris Hilton energy. That's what it does. It has Paris Hilton in the early 2000s mini skirt energy, and I don't have time like that. That's why I like rosemary. It takes forever to grow. It just
Mhm.
doesn't want to grow. It's like just chilling, doesn't really want water a whole, you know, you can only water every once a week.
Yeah.
It's very picky. So it's like I can vibe with that plant. It's not starving for attention that I can't give it. So, you know, you
So
got to be careful.
I don't have a horror story with lavender, but I have a similar like thing with lavender where it just wouldn't work with me for a while. And I eventually did figure out a way. It's the arrow garden. Arrow garden, for some reason, the lavender grows for me. But I tried.
Lavender really likes good soil drainage. It does not like to sit in water. You
That's
got to
the
put
funniest
rocks
thing.
underneath it.
I did everything that you're told to do about lavender and I could not get it
Really?
to grow. And it's like a
Ah.
super easy plant to grow. Like you can neglect it,
Oh,
like give
yeah.
it the right setup
I
and you can
neglect
neglect
mine
it.
all the time.
I ordered plants, I did from seed, like I did everything. And then the only thing that ended up working for me was the arrow garden. Go figure, because it's getting water all day long. I don't understand that.
It gets
But
thirsty. Because it grows really fast, it gets really thirsty, but it doesn't like to sit in wet. So you got to consistently keep hitting it up. I
see, I
water
find that
mine twice a
fussy.
day in the middle of summer.
I find that fussy. Like, like
I don't mind
I
giving
don't
it
know.
water. It's the constant, like, having to prune it. Like, I was out there with scissors and arthritis for hours clipping these basil plants.
Yeah,
You
right. I
know,
got
it was a
you. I
lot.
understand. But I
So
do love to use the bounty of lavender. So, like, I make lavender wands, lavender,
nice.
smudge sticks, and I did a whole bunch of like workings for other people too. Like I have like little satchels and like different things that I use the lavender for. So I'm really grateful to my arrow garden. Thank you, arrow garden, for giving me lots of lavender, which I love, and it doesn't love me back.
Well, you know what? Keep it up. It'll love you eventually. You just got to prove yourself, you know. Or it could be like basil, and your entire family makes you never plant it again. They're like, we will leave you if you plant this again. And I'm like, please don't go.
Well, you wouldn't do that anyway. You're not going to plant it again.
I'm not going to plant it. I realized it was a harsh rejection. But anyway, let me tell you guys about the magical thing that happens every year in my garden.
Okay.
Um, every August, I have an influx for about a week and a half of butterflies. Just nothing but orange butterflies all over the place. And I guess I always plant marigolds every year. They attract the ancestors and the spirits. So another reason why I have such a spiritual experience with my garden is because I'm like actively asking the spirits to come around the garden. So
Mm-hmm.
it gives off a very peaceful, situation for me. But the butterflies represent the ancestors coming home.
Mm-hmm.
So the what I learned last year about this phenomena that keeps happening, because it kept happening every year since I've lived here, and I'm like, what is going on with this? So I Googled it one day last year, and for the Dia de los Muertos um, festival in Mexico, the butterflies fly from Canada all the way down to Mexico and get there for that festival. They're passing
Wow.
through my property in August. So for me, August represents the start of that season, the fall season for me now.
Mm-hmm.
So next time this year when it comes up and I see them, I know I got to start preparing for that particular festival. And I make
Mm.
sure that I put marigolds all over the place because of that. It really touched my heart when I realized the significance of that. It really made me feel like welcome here at my property.
That's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Seriously. And I grew marigolds just first time last year too. And it was such a great experience. I brought my marigolds inside once it was like cold to help welcome the ancestors back home. But I didn't
Yes.
have anything as amazing as your experience. Maybe next year, who knows?
Yeah. And it's funny because it starts one by one you'll see a butterfly here, a butterfly, then all of a sudden they're everywhere. And like they're all over the trees, they're all over everything. They're gorgeous.
See, now I think you need to go back and look up beetle infestations and see if there's an upside.
Yeah, something, they wrote about it in the Bible, I think, with Egypt and locusts and stuff. That's what it felt like.
You see if there's some kind of, no, because it seems like you're getting swarmed like constantly. So go back and see if the beetle thing is actually like a message, a positive
like a blessing. Like, here, we bless you so much that we give you a blessing that you get to bring your brother to the emergency room and see what real pain looks like.
You never know. Messages come in all forms.
Anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed our crazy gardening conversation. Yes, we're two golden girl old ladies that like to garden. And we hope you are too. We hope this inspires you to get out there in the dirt, put your hands in, feel around, plant some stuff, because it's really soothing and helpful and calming and highly recommended. So I'm Athena Silver, I'm a professional psychic medium. I do tarot readings, mediumship readings, and different spiritual services. I'm also a mentor. If anybody would like to reach out to me for a reading, my website is readingswithathenasilver.com. My Instagram is @athena.silver. My Facebook is Readings with Athena Silver. And my TikTok is Athena_silver. What about you, Anya?
So I am a certified past life regression hypnotherapist, as well as a tarot reader. And you can reach me at Anya River, ANJARIVER, on Facebook or Instagram.
And the Rebel Crow website is rebelcrowpsychicshow.com. We release an episode every Thursday on YouTube and on all podcasting apps, and we hope you check it out. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.